Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are Group 2 and today we will present about ancient Greek civilization. And in this presentation, we will look at how Greek civilization developed, declined, transformed, and still influence our work today. And this is content for this presentation. We have 9 here. And start with introduction. And the word Greek comes from the Latin word Greces, but the Greek people originally called their land Hellas, and they call themselves Hellenes. So when we talk about the ancient Greek, we actually talking about the civilization of Hellenes. And geographically, the ancient Greek was located in southern Europe around the Balkan Peninsula and Aegean Sea and also Ionian Sea, because the land was very mountainous and surrounded by islands. The Greek did not develop as one single country. Instead of, they actually formed by many independent city-states or polis such as Athens, Sparta, and Thebes. And one of the biggest Greek contribution in philosophy and democracy, the thinkers such as Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle shift thinking from the myth to reason, technique, knowledge, and human life. At the same time, the idea of democracy came from the word demos and kratos, meaning people rules where citizens participate in government. And in architecture, the Greeks are well known for balance, beauty, and proportion. Their column style, which are Doric, Ionic, and Croatian, influence many public buildings even today, like museum, university, and courthouses. Their alphabet also help records law, idea, poetry, and drama. And Greek society also strongly connected to religion and mythology. They are polytheistic, meaning they worship many gods, influence the 12 Olympian. And beside that, the Greek also contribute to the engineering, medicine, mathematics, and also astronomy. And this timeline show the ancient Greek civilization was not fixed period. It developed in stages starting from the early Aegean culture, then the Dark Age, Archaic, Classical, Hellenistic, and finally Roman conquest. So the story of Greece is actually a story of rise, decline, recovery, and influence. Now we move to the early civilization of ancient Greece. And the major civilization of Minoan civilization based on the island Crete, it was the Bronze Age civilization known for palace, trade, writing, colorful mural, and art advanced. And the major palace centered includes Consos, Paistos, Malia, and Zakros. And the Minoan had writing system like Linear A and Cretan hieroglyph. Although they are still not fully understood today, they were active in Mediterranean trade, especially with products like wine, olive oil, and craft goods. And architecturally, they were advanced with multi-story building, plumbing system, and complex palace layout. And after Minoan, the Mycenaean civilization became dominant on mainland Greece. Their influence spread across the Aegean and Peloponnese. Unlike the Minoan, the Mycenaeans were more defensive and military in character, with the major centers like Mycenae, Tyrene, Pylos, Thebes, and Athens. And the Mycenaeans used linear and early from Greek writing, mainly for the administration and record keeping. And the worship gods like Zeus and Poseidon traded across the Mediterranean and built fortified palace complex with massive Cyclopean wall. And their decline was causes a mix of possible factors, includes disaster, conflict, invasion, and internal instability. And to compare both civilizations, the Minoan were Island-based in Crete with unfortified palaces and a more nature-based religion. And the Mysian were more militaries and built heavily fortified palaces. But both were similar in trade, art, craftsmanship, palace culture, and polytheistic religion. Next, we enter the Greek Dark Age. The main question here is, was the Greek Dark Age really a two-day decline for whole Greek population? And the answer is not fully yes, because although many things collapse, some of cultural foundation continue and later develop again. And the Dark Age began after the collapse of Mycenaean civilization. Many cities were destroyed or abandoned, population declined, and the old palace system disappeared. And the loss of linear B writing also means administration and writing records collapse. So this period is called dark because there were very limited writing source. When we say the writing system vanished, it mainly refer the loss of linear B, as the linear B is a writing system for administration, but this does not mean Greek culture completely died. Instead of, the knowledge and story continue through oral tradition. And during this period, there also beginning of the recovery, a new ceramic style called proto-geometry pottery, shown the artist's expression continue. Oral story also become very important, and this later helped shape famous work like Homer, Iliad, and Odyssey. And by 9th and 8th century BCE, Greek communities start to reconnect with trade networks. Sites like Lefkandi show the evidence of well leadership, foreign contact, and this period prepared the foundation for the Archaic period with return of literacy and the rise of police and also the first Olympic Games. And we will move to Archaic period.
Now we move on to the Attic period. This period was important because it's become the foundation for many things we know about ancient Greece, and such as the city-state, politics, and temple literature, and the Olympic Games. So the Attic period happened around 800 to 400 BC. During this time, Greece started to recover after the Dark Age. Population increased, trade become active again, and the society become more organized. The most important development was the rise of the polis, or the city-state. A polis was not just a city but also political, social, and religion center, famous for example Athens, Sparta, and Corinth. For each polis has its own identity. Athens was known for the democracies and knowledge, while Sparta was known as for the military discipline. So this period show how Greece become more structured and urban. In politics, the Greeks experiment the different system. They started with the monarchy, where power belongs to king. Some city-state moved to oligarchy, where the power was controlled by a small group elites. There was also aristocracy, rules by noble families, and trinity, where the rules took control finally. The Athens developed democracy, where citizens could participate in decision making. So democracy did not happen suddenly. It developed slowly through the political change and reform, especially through the leader of the classical, known as the father of the Athens democracy. In architecture, the Archaic period marks the shift from the temporary materials like woods and mud brick to more permanent material like stone and marble. The most important building types are the Greek temple. The temple was built for gods and goddess, usually with a rectangular plan, raised platform, and row of columns. This period also introduced the Doric and Ionic column order. Doric was simpler and heavier, while Ionic was more slender and decorative. This became the basic architectural language of ancient Greece. For the art, this is period known for chorus and chorus statue. Chorus means male figure and chore means female figure. They were usually stiff frontal and idealized, but they show the beginning of human representation of Greek art. Vase painting also developed from the geometric pattern to more storytelling image. The Greek used the black figure and later red figure technique to show mythology, daily life, sport and ritual. Greek alphabet developed around 800 BC, adapted from the Phoenician scripts. The important part is that included both vowel and consonant, making it easier to write the Greek language. Because this is an oral story could be recorded, famous work like the Homer-like Odyssey become important in preserving Greek values such as honors, origin, loyalty, and identity. Lastly, sports were also very important in the ethnic period. The Olympic Games began around 776 BC, where they held in honor of Zeus. Next is we move on to the classical periods, also known as the golden age of the ancient Greek. The classical period happened around 480 BC to begin after the Greek defended the Persians, and the victory gave confidence to Greek city-state, especially Athens. This period is called the golden age because the many major achievements happened in politics, art, culture, theatre, philosophy, and science. In Athens, democracy became stronger under Pericles. Citizens could vote directly on law and politics, and at the same time, architecture reached a high level of beauty and proportion, especially through the Pantheon. Theatre also became important, starting from the Legends Festival and Dionysus. From there, tragedy and comedy developed with the famous writers like Sophocles, Euripides, and Aristophanes. This period also produced three major philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. Socrates focused on the questioning and ethics. He used the Socratic method, which means asking questions to make people think deeper. Plato, his student, founded an academy in Athens. He believed in ideals from the discussion, justice, education, and good leadership. Aristotle, the student of Plato, studied many fields such as logic, politics, biology, ethics, and science. He also tutor for the Alexander the Great. So these three thinkers come to foundation of Western philosophy and critical thinking. Even though this period was golden age, it was also full of the conflict. The first Greeks fought together against the Persian Empire in Persian War, important battles including the Marathon, Thermopylae, and the Salamis. After that, Athens became stronger and formed the Delian League. But this created the tension of Sparta, leading the Peloponnesian War. The war weakened the Greek city-state because of his Macedon was able to rise under Philip II, and later his son Alexander the Great expanded the great influence across the huge empire. The classical period also introduced many innovations in warfare. The Greeks used to planish information where the soldiers moved together in a strong organized block. Athens also became powerful at sea using the triumph and fast warship. In science and mathematics, figures like Hippocrates, Pythagoras, and Euclid contribute to medicine and geometry. In art, Greek sculpture became more realistic, show movement, anatomy, emotion. So the period was not only about beauty but also the knowledge, strategy, and innovation. Alright, now we move to the Hellenistic period. This period happened after the classical period and the Greek culture spread beyond the Greece. The Hellenistic period began after the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC. Alexander had built a huge empire from the Greeks to Egypt, Persian, and a part of the India. But when he died, he left no clear successor. Because of that, his general called the Diadochi divided the empire. This created several kingdoms such as the Ptolemaic Kingdom in Egypt and the Seleucid Empire in Asia, and the Antiochid dynasty in Macedonia. The important point in this Greek culture no longer stayed on the Greece. It spread into the many regions and mixed with the culture. Alright, over time, this Hellenistic kingdom became the weaker because of the internal conflict and war with each other. At the same time, Rome was becoming the more powerful. Macedonia fell to Rome in 168 BC, and Egypt was the last kingdom to fall after the Cleopatra death in the 330 BC. So the Hellenistic period started with the spread of Greek culture and ended when Rome absorbed into the Greek world. One of the main features of this period was culture blending. Greek culture mixed with Egyptian, Persian, Mesopotamian, and Indian tradition. The Greek language, especially Koine Greek, became widely used to trade, government, education, and literature. This period also saw many progress in science and knowledge. Hellenistic contributed to geometry, academics contributed to engineering and mathematics, and the astronomer studies of the movement of planet and star. In the art, they start to become more emotional and realistic, unlike the classical period, which focused on the ideal beauty. Hellenistic art shown drama, movement, pain, and ordinary of people. During the Hellenistic period, philosophy became more personal. People were living in a changing and uncertain world, so they focused more on how to find peace and life well. This led to three major schools: Stoicism, Epicureanism, and Skepticism. Stoicism taught people to stay calm and accept fate. Epicureanism is focused on simple living, friendship, and inner peace. Skepticism taught people not to be too certain and to suspend judgment. Religion also became more mixed. Greek gods were combined with the local gods, such as Serapis, which blend Greek and Egyptian religions idea. So the Hellenistic period showed how Greek civilization became more global, multicultural, and personal. So to summarize the archaic period built by the foundation of Greek civilization, the classical period became the peak of the Greek achievement, and the Hellenistic period spread Greek culture across the wider world. So ancient Greek civilization did not just rise and fall, it has transformed, expanded, and continued to influence other civilizations. I think that's all for my part. I continue to Nades. Thank you.
Next, we look at Roman conquest and Greek legacy. By the 3rd century BCE, Greece had declined from its classical golden age. Constant internal wars, especially between Athens, Sparta, and later Thebes, had weakened the Greek city-states. Meanwhile, the Roman Republic was expanding its territory and influence across the Mediterranean. There are three key events that happened leading to the annexation of Greece. First is the Macedonian Wars between 214 to 148 BCE. Rome and its allies defeated major Greek kingdoms, breaking Macedon into smaller republics. Next event is the destruction of Corinth on 146 BCE. Roman general Lucius Mummius captured and completely destroyed the city of Corinth to crush the resisting Achaean League. And the final event is the formation of Achaia. In the same year, 146 BCE, Rome officially turned Greece into the Roman province of Achaia, effectively ending Greek independence. Even though Rome might have conquered Greece militarily, Greece has conquered Rome culturally. So Rome became the massive vehicle that spread Greek achievements across the world. So we look at two major areas of influence in this slide. The first aspect is philosophy and thought, where Roman education heavily relied on Greek philosophers. Great Roman thinkers like Cicero were deeply inspired by the Greeks, and Emperor Marcus Aurelius even practiced the Greek philosophy of Stoicism. In the aspect of art and architecture, the Romans directly imitated Greek statues and pottery. When you look at Roman architecture, including the famous Pantheon, you can see heavy use of Greek column styles, which is the Doric, Ionic, and Corinthian. The third aspect is literature and language. The Greek remained the language of scholars, especially in the Eastern Roman Empire. Famous Roman epics by Virgil and Ovid emulated Homer, and Roman theatre was built on the backbone of Greek plays. The fourth aspect is the political philosophy and law. Even though Rome was a republic, its core ideas regarding citizenship, public debate, and legal structures trace their roots straight back to the democratic principles that started in Athens. The last and final aspect is science, math, and medicine, where the Romans preserved Greek advancements in these three aspects. Roman scholars kept the work of Hippocrates in medicine, Euclid in geometry, and also Archimedes in physics. So as you can see in the summary table on the slide, across every domain, Rome has preserved these Greek contributions which later formed the foundation of European Renaissance. So the summary is a lasting legacy. Now if we go into civilization analysis, a critical question that pops up is how did religion influence cultural practices and societal norms? The first one is festivals, where major cultural and sporting events like the Olympic Games and theatrical plays were actually religious rituals honoring Zeus and Dionysus. Next is civic decision making, where leaders wouldn't make major political or military moves without consulting the gods in the Oracle of Delphi. For moral codes and social etiquette, myth dictated everyday etiquette, treating guests was a divine rule, and excessive pride was punished by the gods. And for art and architecture, the most famous Greek arts and buildings like the Parthenon were created specifically to worship the gods. Next question is, how did cultural beliefs and practices shape the interpretation and expression of religion? Firstly, because the Greeks valued humanity and the physical form, they imagined their gods looking and acting just like humans, complete with flaws and emotion. The second one is local loyalties, where Greece was split into fiercely independent city-states. Therefore, the religion became localized. And Athens worshipped the strategic god, which is Athena, and the warriors of Sparta worshipped the god of war, which is Ares. Next is poetry as scripture, where writers like Homer essentially codified the religion, making storytelling their version of scripture. Final one is philosophy, whereas logic and philosophy has grew, thinkers began questioning literal myths, shifting their religion towards more abstract ethical concepts. The final critical question is, in what aspects do the dynamics of religion and culture contribute to the development or decline of civilization? So for development, we look into two aspects, which is unity and innovation. For unity, even though the city-states fought each other, their shared religion and myths helped them unite as Greeks to fight off massive foreign invasions like the Persian Empire. For innovation, the drive to build better temples and host better religious festivals led to the invention of Western theatre, classical architecture, and also the Olympics. For development, it starts with the superstition, where there is too much relying on religious omens caused total mistakes. For instance, an Athenian army was once wiped out because their general delayed a crucial retreat just because of a lunar eclipse. So this ultimately led to a civil war where a shared religion was not enough to keep the Greeks from destroying each other. Their intense local pride led to a massive civil wars, for example Athens versus Sparta, which weakened them and allowed the Romans to eventually conquer them. Lastly, for conclusion and reflection, why do we still study the civilization of ancient Greek? First of all, it's the foundation of Western civilization, where our modern concepts of philosophy, science, and the arts are rooted in Greek ideas. In terms of democracy, the very ideas of voting, civic engagement, and public debate were pioneered there. Next, for rational thinking, where the Greek method of inquiry and logic set the stage for all modern science and technology. And lastly, in terms of education, we still use the Socratic method, which is asking probing questions to provoke critical thinking in classrooms all over the world today. So the values and lessons we get from studying the civilization of ancient Greek. First is the balance, or sophros. The idea that moderation and self-control lead to a fulfilling life. Second one is civic responsibility, the belief that being an active, informed citizen is crucial for upholding justice. Next is rational inquiry, where it helps in understanding the truth coming from questioning and testing ideas, not just blindly accepting tradition. Number 4 is awareness of power, where the historical warning that unchecked powers lead to injustice, a lesson as relevant then as it is now. Lastly is the cultural legacy, which is the enduring power of art, architecture, and literature to outlast all empires. So to end this presentation, we leave with this summary, which is to study ancient Greece is to look into a mirror of our modern world. From flawed democracies to philosophical breakthroughs, the Greek legacy teaches us that civilizations rise not only with power, but with thought, dialogue, and the pursuit of wisdom. This is our references, and that's all for the presentation. Thank you.